goes, as castle does, and I've got UT4 action. All right. So now I'm getting more of the level geometry in place, and just kind of feeling out how I want the overall layout. At this point, I know exactly how I want to go about the layout. I have everything in mind. It's just a matter of kind of getting it into the engine. Um, Dealing with the brush manipulation, which I could definitely tell that a lot of it's just because I'm not used to it, but in a way I am really used to it. So I don't understand, like, it's not like fundamentally different from UT4. Just for some reason it feels way more unwieldy and way slower than UT3. I said UT4, I meant UT3 or UE3. So even in the case of like working with brushes, I still prefer to go with very minimal brushwork and kind of fill the rest in with models. Looking at Epic's levels, however, kind of shows me a different story. Their levels are actually very model or very brush heavy, surprisingly so. I wanted to try and have like a third entrance, and this in some ways this level kind of breaks that three entrances rule. Um, Not everything needs to flow that way. It's just a rule of thumb. It's not gospel, but it is definitely something to try and do, is to make sure that there's at least three entrances and exits in every single main room or atrium, if you want to refer to them as that. So I end up with that little like cubby hole thing, and I just took that out. I'm like, that's not going to be any good. It's not going to be conducive to the kind of gameplay. Unless you want in a dueling map, you don't want haha, I shot you in the foot and you died. It's more like, haha, I hit you with a rocket while we were both looking directly at each other, or I came around the corner. It's not like coming up with these little like sneaky bits. It's just not healthy for the gameplay. So at this point, I'm remembering why I really like having a dual monitor setup. UE4 definitely reminds me that I really, really, really should have two monitors when I'm working with this tech, because it just feels like I am working in this tiny little window. It doesn't feel the same. Like these, my orthographic views feel. It doesn't make any sense. They're the same size as they are in Hammer. Are they? Maybe I should open up Hammer and compare these two. But it feels like everything, like I don't have any space. Like my workspace is like this big. I think it's because the people who work with this tech typically have gigantic fucking monitors, and they're running massive things. Okay, so I added a power up in this map. I know that this is a no-no. I did it anyway, and I suck. But I just wanted to see what it's like. Adding a damage amplifier in a 1 vs 1 is always bad. But also at the same time, I want to kind of see what people said. Nobody even mentioned it yet. It's a universal no-no, and nobody's said anything for the feedback. So and that's even after getting feedback, nobody's mentioned it. What's going on? I'm not getting feedback. But anyway, I'm getting all the armor in place. I accidentally placed two helmets instead of thigh pads. I wanted to put thigh pads up on that box over there. I got armor sitting up there, a little way to jump down, getting the jump pads in place. I might replace this jump pad with a teleport so that it can keep you in the action a little bit faster. I wanna. I'm getting like spawn points in now. The spawn points are always facing in a direction that the player can run. Like I talked about this when I was working on Chamber. You always want to have a spawn point that's facing a direction that is not into something. Like have a weapon in front of the player. Like that was me actually like testing my spawn points, suicide test spawn point. Make sure that like it flows correctly. Don't force the player to have to make a decision as soon as he spawns. Okay, so there's 4 health vials there. There was 3 health vials there. I'm placing 2 health vials there. Okay. Now there's 2 and then another 2. The health vials are being placed as sound cues. They are not just there as pickups. So there's one spot where there's 4, there's one spot where there's 3, there's one spot where there's 2, and then there's one spot where there's 2 and then 2. The reason why is because the other player, when you pick those up, and they're usually pretty handy, there's not a whole lot of health in this level. The other player can hear them, and if you pick them up at the wrong times, they can kind of predict where you are. I purposely placed the health vials in such a way as to do that. So it actually even makes sense in some cases to pick up 2 of them and leave the other 2 there, and you might confuse the other guy. I'm getting like a pass at like trying to get some textures and lighting in, and at the moment the tech ends up feeling pretty unwieldy at the moment. I'm still getting used to it, and it feels like I need to have a bigger monitor. I don't know, but I got the base. Everything is in there, and now this is like the first time the map's actually uh, playable, and I actually put it up online, put up screenshots. So a lot more comes after this. So stay tuned. See you again.